from here. Not a good moment for you guys because, okay. That's precisely what I'm talking about though. For all you know, you may have reached that point in your development where you are beginning to think, okay, other people are really people. And I need to accept that. I need to accept that I'm not the only human being in the world, that other people are not aliens, that this whole planet is not an elaborate construction by some kind of very advanced alien race to see what will happen if they put a human being through a certain trials and tribulations. And now you are here and you are hearing me say that I felt the same way, which in turn makes you probably feel better about wondering whether you might be the only human being in the world. But is it not possible that my alien masters sent me here today for the express purpose of telling you that you are, in fact, not the only human to try to trick you? You don't know. This is what books are primarily in the business of doing. Because the book is a co-creation of the reader and the writer, because when I read a book, I am enmeshed and immersed in that book in a way that I can never be enmeshed and immersed in something that I'm not co-creating. Because of that, I believe that books can teach us that other human beings are really human, and they can help us, they can be tools on the path, the lifelong path, to imagining other people complexly, to understanding that other people are as human as we are, that their grief is as real as our grief, that their pain is as real as our pain, that their joy is as significant and as desirable as our joy, which I think is one of the central responsibilities that we have. I need to turn off my phone too, don't worry. Thank you for the reminder. One of our central responsibilities as human beings. That said, all of my books have a lot of jokes in them, and a lot of them like jokes about pee and stuff. So it's not. I'm not married to this idea, but I want to read briefly from my book Paper Towns, very briefly, while people sigh. Thank you. Thank you for sighing. I don't know if that was a good sigh or a bad sigh.
It was a great sigh. It was a great sigh.
You know how at the beginning of really pretentious books there are sometimes pretentious quotations? I have such a pretentious quotation, and I would like to read it to you. It's from a poet who is actually a nerd fighter. By the way, nerd fighters, for those of you who aren't nerd fighters, are not like people who fight nerds. Duh. As you can gather from looking around you, or indeed just by looking behind the podium. No, nerd fighters are people who fight for nerds in the same sense that freedom fighters ostensibly fight for freedom and kind of fight for nerd culture and intellectualism. And we also do a lot of awesome projects, like along with the Harry Potter fan community. Last week we raised $122,000 for Partners in Health in Haiti, and we built pond sand filters in Bangladesh, and lots of weird stuff. We also sent people who have never been to concerts. Like, 13-year-olds who've always wanted to go to concerts but they haven't been able to. We bought them $5 concert tickets, things like that. This poet is actually a nerd fighter. Her name is Katrina Vandenberg, and this is from a poem called Jack-o'-lantern. And after, when we went outside to look at her finished lantern from the road, I said I liked the way her light shone through the face that flickered in the dark. It is my contention that the way that light gets out of people and into people is via cracks, or in the case of jack-o'-lanterns, via stabbing. And that it's really only when we have had the kind of pain in our lives that remind us that we are always breaking apart and that we are always falling apart, that we can begin to both let other people into us and also see the pain in other people's lives. That's kind of what Paper Towns is about. Paper Towns is a novel about a guy named Quentin who has lived next door his entire life to this girl, Margaret Ross Spiegelman, who he's been overwhelmingly in love with. And he's also spent his entire life romanticizing her, as boys will, but if you've read Twilight, you know girls will too. And this is, I'm just going to read from the prologue briefly. The way I figure it, everyone gets a miracle.